Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing my June TBR. June is Pride Month, so I tried to pick books that were either written by or featured characters who were members of the LGBTQ plus community. The first book on my June TBR is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I don't remember much about what this is about besides it's sci-fi, it takes place in outer space. I don't need to know anything else. And if I remember correctly, Becky Chambers identifies as queer, which is why I used Pride Month as an excuse to buy myself this edition of this book. Specifically this edition, because I do not like the US editions. And I was like, I will not buy it if it's the US edition. Is that bad? Maybe. But that's just how it is. The next book on my June TBR is Bloody Rose by Nicholas Eames. This book I know only like a little bit about. I know it follows a band of mercenaries, and I've been told that the main mercenary is a lesbian and there's a bard. That's honestly all I really know. I have been told I will like this book. It sounds interesting when people describe it to me, so I'm gonna go for it. Next up is Cells at Work by Kane Shimizu. This is a manga that follows the cells in the human body. It's so good. I finished all of the episodes of the anime that are available on Netflix, and now I'm just trying to read the manga. And I want to read volume 2 this month so that I can give myself permission to buy a few more volumes. This is one of the books that, as far as I'm aware, has no connection to the LGBTQ plus community, but is one that I'm just like, I just can't wait to read this. It took all of my self-control to not read this in May, but I wanted to put it off till June so I can stretch out my enjoyment of this series. Next we have The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I always thought it was on the Cerulean Sea. Nope, it's in the sea. And this book is one I've been wanting to read for a long time because it just sounds really cute. And it's about a man who works for like this kind of government agency, from what I understand. And he is supposed to go investigate this like orphanage type place that's on the Cerulean Sea. It looks like on this cliff. And he falls in love with the caretaker there, and he starts to love the kids. And it's queer and it's cute, and I'm excited. Also, this cover is so pretty. I love it. Next up we have Every Heart a Doorway by Shauna McGuire. This is actually going to be a reread for me. I originally borrowed the first 2 books in the Wayward Children series from the library, read them, loved them, decided I wanted to own a copy. Also, again, with the covers. Holy cow, we have some really pretty covers in this TBR. But that's beside the point. If I remember correctly, there are queer characters in this book. So the basic premise of the series overall is following kids who went through a doorway to their perfect world, and then once they return home, they don't know what to do with themselves, and they have a hard time adjusting back to the real world. So there's this home run by Eleanor West, and this home is a home for the kids who come back from these worlds and don't know what to do. I love this book the first time around. I'm so excited to reread it. Also, it's really short, which I feel like is going to be helpful because there's a lot of books that I want to read this month. Next up, we have Lost in the Neverwoods by Aiden Thomas. And I also plan on reading Aiden Thomas's other book, Cemetery Boys. I don't know why I couldn't think of it, but we'll talk about that more in a second. So I decided to buy this one. I wasn't sure at first if I wanted to just get the audiobook from my library or if I wanted to buy it. But this takes place in Oregon, and I was like, say no more. I'm buying it because I love Oregon. I'm from Oregon. I love it. If it takes place there, I'm like, yeah, yes, have my money, because I want to go home so desperately. But that's not what this video is about. This book is about this young girl who goes missing with her brothers, and then I think it's like 5 years later she returns, but her brothers don't, and it's a mystery. They disappear into the woods outside Astoria, Oregon, and that's all I need to know. The synopsis goes on after that. I don't care. I don't need to know anything else. Also, again, the cover. It's so pretty. Also, purple is one of my favorite colors. In addition to reading Lost in the Neverwoods, I also have the audiobook on hold. I think I have about 2 more weeks to wait for Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. And this is about, I feel like I really don't want to get this wrong. Okay, test of my memory. It's about a boy who's a trans boy who wants to prove he's a true brujo. So he performs a spell and conjures a ghost. To be safe, I'm going to look it up. The real question is, does anyone know how to spell cemetery? Not me. Terrible at spelling. Anyway, okay. Yes, a trans boy determined to prove his gender to his traditional Latinx family summons a ghost who refuses to leave in Aiden Thomas's New York Times bestselling paranormal YA debut Cemetery Boys. So I really hope I like Aiden Thomas's writing because I'm planning on reading 2 of their books this month. I just decided to pack it all in right now because why not? I do hear Cemetery Boys especially is amazing. I haven't heard as much about Lost in the Neverwoods, but honestly, Lost in the Neverwoods appeals to me a little bit more. So I think I'm going to try to read that one before I get my hold for Cemetery Boys, because I want to maybe get a little bit acquainted with their writing before I dive into Cemetery Boys. Up next is Outlawed by Anna North. In this, we follow Ada, who after a year of marriage still does not have a kid and decides to run away and join this band who I guess provides safety for rogue women. That's all I need to know. Sounds interesting. I hear it's queer. I don't know how it is, what kind of representation we are going to get in here, but I am excited to find out. And again, I really like this cover. It is a little bit different than the other covers we've seen today, but I love this, like, the clouds over the face that's not really there. I'm digging it. And the last thing I have physically is Moonstruck Volume 3 by Grace Ellis and Shay Beagle. And then it looks like we have some additional illustrators with McCubbin, Quirk, and Cowles. So this is a graphic novel. I read the first 2. They were very cute. They are definitely queer and also very, like, magical. I also grabbed the first volume, and I'm just going to read you the synopsis off of that to give you kind of a better idea what this is about. In a little college town of Blytheton, fantasy creatures live cozy, normal lives right alongside humans, and werewolf barista Julie strives to be the most normal of all. But all heck breaks loose when she and her new girlfriend Selena go on a disastrous first date that ends with a magician casting a horrible spell on their friend Chet. Now it's up to the team of mythical pals to stop the illicit illusionist before it's too late. So just super fun. I really enjoyed the first and the second one, and I'm excited to have finally gotten the 3rd volume. That is my June TBR. I only have 1 audiobook lined up so far, so that is the main place where I'm hoping to read a little bit more than what I have planned right now. I'm still kind of looking through Libby to see what my library has and hoping I find some good books that sound really interesting. And there are a couple other things I hope to get to, but these are kind of my main priority for this month. So with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you plan on reading in June to celebrate Pride Month, and also give me your recommendations for books with LGBTQ plus authors or characters. I would love to get more recommendations. I especially want recommendations of books with bisexual characters, because I do not feel like I have a lot of those, or honestly, I don't think I know of any books. So let me know. I would love to know. Again, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!